My name's Casey Evans. I'm 25, and my profession, well, I'm a kept man. Yeah, you heard that right. One of those guys who supposedly coasts through life on his looks. The problem, my face is fine, just okay, handsome. So, my kept man career has been less of a glamorous fantasy and more of a slow-moving dumpster fire. Take last week, for example. I finally managed to charm this wealthy older woman who drove a Porsche. She took me to one of those white-tablecloth restaurants, where the wine costs more than my rent, and in a moment of overexcitement, I spilled an entire glass of red wine all over her Birkin bag. She smiled sweetly and said, "Get out." Or the week before that, I was at a bar, doing my best impression of a tortured, brooding artist, and I actually caught the attention of a female CEO. She looked me over, leaned in, and asked, "What's your monthly salary?" Trying to sound deep and soulful, I replied, "You can't put a price on love." She just scoffed. So, broke, then, get lost. And so it went. My path to easy living was paved with epic failures. Still, I kept trying, until today. I was sitting on a park bench, contemplating the mysteries of the universe, while gnawing on a day-old 7-Eleven donut, when a Rolls-Royce glided to a stop right in front of me. The window lowered, revealing an absolutely stunning face. "Hey," she said, her red lips barely moving. Her voice had that lazy, arrogant drawl that made it sound like she was already bored with you. I looked up, half a donut still hanging out of my mouth. "Me?" She scanned me up and down, her eyes sharp and calculating, like a butcher inspecting a side of beef. "Decent looking," she said finally, "if a little dopey." I blinked, question marks practically floating over my head. "Get in." "Huh?" Her tone sharpened. "I need a boyfriend. Trial period. 1 month. 15,000 a month. You in or out?" My brain cells did a quick calculation. In. Definitely in. And just like that, I was picked up literally by Sophia Hayes, my new rich benefactor. Her place was a sprawling 3-story mansion in what looked like Beverly Hills, complete with its own pool. Standing in the foyer, I felt like a stray dog who had accidentally wandered into Buckingham Palace. Sophia lounged on a leather sofa, legs crossed, and tossed a document at me. "Sign it." I looked down. Boyfriend employment agreement. The terms were, something dope be available, 24 seconds, on call. Must appear deeply in love and affectionate in public. No questions about her career or private life. Do not fall in love with her. I frowned. Isn't number 4 a little redundant? Sophia smirked. The last 3 all fell for me. It was a hassle, right? Rich people confidence, a truly special breed. I signed with a flourish. She collected the contract, satisfied, then gestured. "Upstairs. Your room's on the 2nd floor. Go take a shower, change your clothes." I hesitated. "Are we diving into the role this quickly?" "No," she said flatly. "You smell like a homeless shelter." Ouch. After a shower, I put on the clothes she'd laid out for me, a crisp, all-white casual outfit, with the price tag still attached. I snuck a peek. $14,800. My hands actually trembled. This outfit cost more than my entire life savings. I carefully made my way downstairs. Sophia was on the phone. When she saw me, her eyes lit up just a fraction. "Not bad." She hung up, walked over, and pinched my cheek. "Presentable enough, I suppose. Thanks for the glowing review, boss." "Call me Sophia," she corrected. "When we're out, it's Sophie, and you act like you adore me." "Got it, Sophie." Satisfied, she suddenly looped her arm through mine. "Come on, I'm taking you to meet my friends." So soon. They heard I picked up a new boy toy. They're dying for a look. Half an hour later, we arrived at an exclusive private club. The moment we pushed open the door to a private room, I was practically blinded by the sheer amount of diamonds and designer outfits. 5 or 6 wealthy women turned in unison, their gazes scanning me like high-end X-ray machines. Well, Sophie, is this your new puppy? One woman drawled, sporting a diamond the size of a pigeon's egg. Sophia leaned against my shoulder affectionately. He is, what do you think? Another woman gave me an appraising glance. Looks good enough, but does he know how to behave? Time to shine. I gently took Sophia's hand. As long as Sophie's happy, that's all that matters. The women collectively oohed and oh'd. Oh, he's smooth. Sophia grinned, leaning in to whisper in my ear. Nice one. $1,500 bonus. Motivation levels instantly maxed out for the rest of the evening. I deployed my full arsenal of professional kept-man skills. I served Sophia food, poured her wine, dabbed her lips with a napkin, and threw in a few soulful gazes for good measure. The other women were practically green with envy. Sophie, where did you dig up this treasure? One asked. Sophia just swirled her wine with a mysterious smile. Meanwhile, I maintained my gentle, attentive facade, but inside, I was ecstatic. This gig was the sweetest deal ever. Day 3 of the contract, I was lounging in a ridiculously comfortable massage chair, truly embracing my new life, when I heard a commotion downstairs. Sophia, get your ass out here. A man's furious roar echoed through the living room. Curious, I peeked over the railing. A guy, at least 6'1", handsome, and wearing a sharp custom-tailored suit, stood in the doorway, his face dark enough to curdle milk. Sophia strolled leisurely down the stairs, coffee cup in hand. Well, Ethan Pierce, what brings you here? Below us, fish were lazily swimming in the turquoise water. In the center of the bedroom stood a massive circular bed, draped in sheer white gauze curtains. I was sprawled out on the glass floor, idly counting parrotfish, when I heard Sophia call from the bathroom. Casey, I forgot my robe. Can you grab it for me? I scrambled to her suitcase, but all I found was a slinky silk dressing gown. Knocking on the bathroom door, I waited. It opened just a crack, steam curling out, mixing with the expensive scent of her body wash. A hand still glistening with water droplets slipped through the opening. I quickly passed her the silk robe, but my fingers brushed hers, and whoops, the robe slithered to the floor. From behind the door, Sophia's icy voice cut through the steam. Casey, I'm quite sure you did that on purpose. Honest too. God, this silk is just incredibly slippery. Sophia, get out. I practically sprinted to the balcony, my face burning hot enough to fry an egg. The next day's scuba diving excursion turned out to be the biggest challenge of my career. So far, I, Casey Evans, am terrified of both heights and deep water. As the instructor on the yacht explained safety procedures, my legs had already turned to jelly. Sophia, looking like a Bond girl in her wetsuit, walked over. What's wrong? I tried to sound casual. Nothing. Just contemplating marine ecological balance. She raised an eyebrow. You're not scared, are you? Of course not, I blustered. I'm a man destined for greatness, ready to conquer the 7 seas. 5 minutes later, I was clinging to the yacht's railing for dear life. Boss, I think I'm better suited to cheering you on from shore. Sophia sighed, then surprised me by stepping closer to adjust my oxygen mask. Look at me. I stared up at her, dumbfounded. Deep breaths. I'll be right next to you. Nothing will happen. I don't know if it was the reassurance in her tone or her stunning face so close to mine, but somehow I let go on splash, tumbled straight into the ocean. That evening at the yacht party, my heroic performance, meaning I eventually managed to submerge myself, earned me a cocktail specially mixed by Sophia. Boss, what's this drink called? I asked. She swirled her glass. The Velvet Hustle. I nearly choked. After a few drinks, Sophia's cheeks were flushed. She suddenly pointed at the star-dusted sky. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronomer. I looked at her surprised. Then why? Because my father said the Hayes family doesn't need dreamers, it needs earners. She laughed, a small, self-deprecating sound. Pretty cliché, huh? I didn't know what to say, so I quietly poured her a glass of water. She took it, then suddenly asked, Casey, if there was no contract, would you still be this nice to me? My heart skipped a beat. Of course I would. She studied me for a few seconds, then smiled faintly. Liar. And with that, she slumped against my shoulder and fell asleep. I was debating whether to carry her back to her room or try to wake her when a sickeningly familiar voice cut in. Well, fancy meeting you here. I happened to be vacationing too. I looked up. Ethan Pierce, wearing a garish Hawaiian shirt, stood there, his smile as fake as a $3 bill. Instinctively, I pulled Sophia closer. Mr. Pierce, you certainly have a knack for showing up uninvited. His eyes swept over the sleeping Sophia. Looks like someone's taking advantage of the situation. I was about to retort when Sophia stirred on my shoulder. She blinked blearily up at me. Casey, I'm here. She reached up, touched my face, and slurred. You know, you're so much better than Ethan. Then she was out again. The expression on Ethan's face was priceless, a masterpiece of conflicting emotions. I fought back a smirk. Mr. Pierce, wasn't there something about an exhibition you were attending? He stomped off, muttering. I looked down at Sophia, sleeping peacefully, in my arms, and a strange thought struck me. This whole kept man thing. I was starting to get a little too into it. 3 days after we returned from the Maldives, I was in Sophia's kitchen, experimenting with a new recipe, when an unknown number lit up my phone. Mr. Evans, Miss Hayes needs you at the hospital. It was her assistant, voice frantic. Mr. Hayes, her father had a heart attack. He's in critical condition. My hand trembled. The spatula clattered to the floor. Half an hour later, I burst into the VIP wing of the hospital. Sophia stood alone at the end of a long corridor, her silhouette fragile as paper. Boss, I called softly. She turned. Her eyes were red, but she hadn't cried. The doctor said he's stable for now. I let out a breath of relief. I was about to say something when footsteps approached. Sophia, I'm here. Ethan Pierce, dapper in a suit, strolled toward us with a bouquet of white lilies. 2 lawyer types trailed behind him. How did you know? Sophia frowned. Your father's unwell, of course I'd be concerned, Ethan said smoothly, then shot me a pointed look. Unlike some people who only know how to cause trouble, I was ready to fire back when the door to the hospital room opened. The patient is awake. He's asking for Mr. Pierce and Miss Hayes, the doctor said. Ethan smugly adjusted his tie and followed Sophia in. I was left outside, feeling like an intruder. Through the crack in the door, I heard Arthur Hayes's weak but firm voice. Sophia, you'll get engaged to Ethan next month. It's been arranged for a long time. Dad, you need to rest. Sophia's voice was cold. Double quotes. No, not unless you can prove Casey Evans isn't a complete waste of space. The heart monitor shrieked. Doctors rushed in. Ethan came out, looking down his nose at me. You heard him? If you have any sense, you'll disappear. I clenched my fists. What do you really want from this marriage alliance? That waterfront property, the Hayes family owns. It's right in the middle of my family's new development project. My head snapped up. So that was it. Late that night, Sophia emerged from the room, pale as chalk. I handed her a carton of warm milk. Boss, you should rest. She suddenly grabbed my wrist. Casey, the contract is up. My heart lurched. Yeah, tomorrow's the last day. In the dim moonlight through the hallway window, her eyes seemed to shine with an unsettling intensity. Is there anything you want to say? Can we renew? Danced on my tongue for 3 seconds, but what came out was, I'll go get you some takeout. As I turned away, I thought I heard her sigh.